Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're taking apart everything you need to know to become a mobile phone repair technician.
Awesome.
And we've got a lot of good stuff to go through.
Yeah,
We've got some career guides, some sample interview questions, even ways that AI can give you an edge in the job market.
definitely.
So by the end of this, you'll be ready to not only nail those tough interview questions, but you'll know what to expect from this career.
Yeah, all the pros, the cons, the ins and outs.
Exactly. So let's start with a career guide. It gives us a really good overview of what a mobile phone repair technician actually does. You're not just fixing cracked screens, which everyone thinks.
Right.
You're diagnosing software issues, you're replacing batteries, troubleshooting hardware problems. It's a lot more involved than you might think.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. It's a very in-demand skill, and the technology is constantly changing, so you always have to be learning and keeping up to date.
Yeah. You need a good understanding of electronics,
Yeah.
a steady hand for those intricate repairs, and the ability to think critically and solve problems on the fly.
For sure. You've got to be good with your hands. And a lot of times, like you said, the technology is changing so fast, you're going to have to figure it out as you go.
Absolutely. And of course, you also need to be able to explain those technical issues to customers who might not have a tech background.
Oh, yeah.
Good communication skills are a must.
That's huge. You're working with people all the time, so you've got to be able to explain sometimes complex things to people who don't really know how they work.
Yeah. So speaking of communication, let's dive into those interview questions.
Okay, sounds good.
We've got 10 common ones from the interview guide that we'll break down, along with some potential follow-up questions.
Awesome. I think this is a great way to really get people ready.
Yes, that's exactly what our listener needs to feel prepared. So let's start with the first question. What inspired you to become a mobile phone repair technician?
All right, so this question is really all about gauging your passion and motivation. The interviewer wants to see that you're really into this, that you're genuinely interested in this field and not just looking for any job.
Right. Okay, so how should our listener approach this question?
Well, think about what drew you to this in the first place. Was it a fascination with technology, just a love of like tinkering and fixing things? Maybe you've always been the go-to person for friends and family when their phone breaks. Whatever it is, let that genuine interest shine through.
And it's a good idea to connect your answer back to the career guide, right?
For sure. If you're excited about working with the latest and greatest tech, mention that. If you're more into the challenge of diagnosing and solving those complex problems, definitely highlight that.
So show the interviewer that you've done your research and that your interests align with the actual job itself.
Right.
Now, what about potential follow-up questions?
Okay, yeah. A really common one that you'll probably get is, how have you been actively pursuing this interest? This is where you can showcase your initiative. Have you taken any online courses? Done any personal projects? Maybe you've even like shadowed a technician or volunteered at a repair shop.
And if you've used RoleCatcher's AI tools to help you, you can mention that too, right? Like, tailor your resume and practice your answers.
Absolutely. It really shows that you're serious about your job search and that you're using technology to your advantage.
And RoleCatcher can do some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can, like, analyze job descriptions and highlight the skills that are most relevant to that specific role.
Right.
That can really make your application stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, it's like having a secret weapon for your job search. Okay, moving on to question number 2. How do you diagnose and troubleshoot mobile phone problems?
Okay.
This one seems pretty straightforward, but what's the interviewer really looking for here? They want to see that you have like a structured approach to problem solving, not just a random guessing game.
Yeah.
You want to be able to walk them through your process. So how do you gather information from the customer? What are the steps you take to actually identify the root cause of the problem?
So it's not just about knowing how to fix a phone. It's about demonstrating your critical thinking skills and your ability to follow a logical process.
Exactly. And it's always helpful to give those specific examples. So mention some common issues you've encountered before.
Like software glitches or battery problems.
Yeah, damaged components. And if you have experience with specific phone brands, highlight that as well.
And this is where RoleCatcher can help out again, right?
Mm.
The AI feedback that it can provide can analyze your practice answers,
Yeah,
suggest improvements, so it can really help you refine your responses and sound more confident and knowledgeable.
for sure. It's like having a virtual mock interview, but with that personalized feedback tailored to the specific job you're applying for.
Okay, let's tackle question number 3. How do you keep up with the latest mobile phone technology and repair techniques? This is all about staying ahead of the curve.
Right, because the tech is changing so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the interviewer really wants to know that you're committed to lifelong learning
Right.
and that you're actively seeking out new knowledge. So be prepared to talk about the resources you use to stay up to date.
Like, are you reading the right blogs and forums? Are you on YouTube watching videos? There's a ton of information out there.
Absolutely. And then there are professional organizations too.
Oh, yeah.
Mentioning those shows that you're serious about your profession and committed to that ongoing education, like the International Society of Certified Electronics Technicians
Right.
or the Association of Mobile Device Repair Technicians.
Absolutely. And those certifications that they provide can give you a competitive edge when you're applying for jobs.
Absolutely. They can really set you apart. You can also mention personal projects or experiments you've done to expand your knowledge.
All right.
Have you taken apart a new phone model just to see how it works? Tried a new repair technique?
Yeah, stuff like that shows you're genuinely passionate.
Exactly. Okay, question number 4. How do you manage customer expectations when repairing a mobile phone? This is a big one.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of the most important skills in this field. You're dealing with people who are stressed, they're anxious about their phone being broken, so you've got to have clear communication and a lot of empathy.
How should our listener approach this question?
Well, I'd start by emphasizing the importance of setting realistic expectations. Don't overpromise on timelines or results, especially if you're not even sure about the extent of the damage. It's always better to underpromise and then overdeliver.
And what about keeping customers informed throughout the repair process?
Super important. Regular updates, whether it's a phone call, a text, or email, can go a long way. It builds trust and reduces that anxiety. And it's another area where RoleCatcher can be really helpful. It can analyze your communication style and suggest improvements, so you can really sound more empathetic and professional.
Okay, so it's like having a communication coach in your pocket, helping you be more effective with customers. Let's move on to question number 5. How do you ensure that you follow safety procedures when repairing mobile phones?
All right, so this one is really important.
Yeah, safety is paramount, right?
Yeah.
You're dealing with delicate electronics, potentially hazardous materials, sharp tools. So safety should always be top of mind.
Absolutely. What the interviewer is trying to figure out here is if you understand the risks involved and that you have a good grasp of safety protocols.
So don't just rattle off a list of rules. Show them that you understand the why behind those rules. Talk about the potential hazards.
Yeah, like electrical shocks, cuts from broken glass, exposure to chemicals.
Right, and then explain the steps you take to mitigate those risks.
Like wearing the right protective gear, like gloves and safety glasses, using ESD straps to prevent static discharge, and showing that you're familiar with material safety data sheets, MSDS, for handling chemicals safely.
And a good follow question might be, can you describe a situation where you had to actually stop a repair for safety reasons?
Yeah, that's a great one. That really gives you a chance to show off your judgment and your commitment to putting safety first.
Okay, time for a bit of a challenge. Question number 6. Can you give an example of a particularly challenging mobile phone repair that you successfully completed?
All right, so this is your chance to show off those technical skills and problem-solving abilities. Choose an example that really highlights your strengths. Maybe it was a complex motherboard repair, a tricky water damage restoration, or a situation where you had to diagnose a rare software issue.
And be specific. Walk them through the steps you took, the tools you used, the obstacles you overcame. It's the details that bring the story to life.
For sure. And it's a good idea to also mention what you learned from that experience and how you've applied it to other repairs.
It shows that commitment to continuous learning. And again, RoleCatcher can be really valuable here with its AI feedback. It can analyze your storytelling and suggest ways to make those stories more engaging.
Yeah, it's like having a personal storytelling coach to help you craft a good narrative that highlights your expertise.
Okay, question number 7. How do you ensure that you provide quality repairs while maintaining efficiency? So this is about finding that balance between speed and precision.
Yeah, you want to work quickly to minimize the customer's downtime, but you can't sacrifice quality in the process.
So how do you convey that in your answer?
Start by emphasizing your commitment to quality. Talk about using high-quality parts, following the manufacturer's guidelines, and performing thorough testing to make sure the repair is done right the first time. But then you also need to acknowledge the need for efficiency. So mention any techniques you use to streamline the repair process without compromising quality.
Things like organizing your workspace, having the right tools ready,
Exactly. Time management is also huge.
and being able to work independently and manage your time effectively.
Right, those are essential skills. especially in this type of job where you might be juggling multiple repairs at once. Speaking of juggling, question number 8 is, how do you handle a situation where a customer is dissatisfied with your repair? This one can be tricky.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with someone who's already frustrated.
Absolutely. It's
Always
all
that.
about staying calm and being solution-oriented.
And even if you don't think you're at fault, it's important to apologize for the inconvenience, right?
Absolutely. Just a sincere apology can really go a long way in diffusing the situation. Once you've heard them out, explain the steps you'll take to investigate further, and be transparent about the next steps.
Will you offer a free re-repair? A discount on a future service? Whatever it is, make sure they feel heard.
Right. And this is a great opportunity to share a story about a time where you successfully resolved a customer complaint.
Yeah, those stories can showcase those customer service skills and your ability to turn a negative situation into a positive one. And RoleCatcher can help here too, right?
Definitely. The AI tools can help you refine those stories, make sure they're clear and impactful.
All right, 2 more questions to go. Question number 9. How do you ensure that you maintain confidentiality when working with customer data?
Okay, so this is becoming more and more important these
Yeah,
days.
with everything being so digital.
Absolutely. Customers are trusting you with their personal information, so it's your responsibility to protect that data. Start by acknowledging the importance of data privacy and your commitment to complying with all those regulations.
Like GDPR, if you're working in Europe.
Exactly. Then explain the steps you take to ensure confidentiality. Do you use password-protected devices? Do you encrypt sensitive data? Do you limit access to customer information?
And what about the proper disposal of customer data?
Oh, yeah, good point. Whether it's wiping hard drives or securely shredding physical documents, those details matter.
A good follow-up might be, what would you do if you accidentally accessed a customer's personal information that you weren't supposed to see?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, but honesty is the best policy. Admit that you'd immediately report it to your supervisor and follow the company's protocol.
Right, it shows integrity. Okay, final question. How do you prioritize and manage your work when dealing with multiple repair requests? This one is all about showcasing those organizational skills.
You need to stay calm, focused, and efficient, even when things get hectic.
Exactly. So, to answer this one, start by outlining your approach to managing multiple requests. Do you use a ticketing system, a whiteboard, a calendar? Whatever it is, explain how you figure out which requests are most urgent.
Taking into account things like the severity of the damage, the customer's needs, and any deadlines. And don't forget to mention your ability to work independently and delegate tasks effectively when needed. It's all about showing you can manage your time and resources.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up question might be, describe a time when you had to juggle multiple urgent repairs. How did you handle it?
So choose a real-world example that shows off your organizational skills and your ability to handle pressure.
That's a great way to wrap up this section.
So we've covered 10 common interview questions, some potential follow-ups, and we've highlighted how RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answers and practice your delivery.
Hopefully everybody's feeling more prepared.
Yeah. Preparation is key to acing any interview. And with the right tools and strategies, you can definitely land that dream job as a mobile phone repair technician.
Absolutely.
Now, on to part 2 of our deep dive. We're going to explore the different career stages and advancement opportunities in this exciting field, so stay tuned.
That's good.
All right, so we just went through a bunch of interviewing questions. Hopefully that was helpful. But now let's talk about the actual career path. What can you expect as you move up in the mobile phone repair world?
Yeah, good point. The career guide actually lays out a pretty typical progression for this career,
Okay.
from entry level all the way to senior technician, and even branches out into some alternative paths.
Oh, interesting. So let's start at the beginning. What does an entry-level mobile phone repair technician typically do?
Well, you're probably going to be doing a lot of those basic repairs like,
The bread and butter.
yeah, exactly. Battery replacements, cracked screens, fixing buttons. You're really building that foundation, mastering those core skills.
Right.
You'll also probably be running diagnostic tests, installing software updates, and advising customers on basic warranty issues.
So a lot of hands-on work. Putting those technical skills that we talked about to the test.
Exactly.
But it's not just about the tech side, right? We talked about that customer service element earlier.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'll be interacting with customers all the time, explaining repairs, answering questions, really trying to make sure they have a positive experience. It's a good chance to work on those communication and problem-solving skills.
Which are so important.
Yeah.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher can even help you analyze your communication style
Oh, right.
and give you some tips to improve your customer interaction skills.
It's like having a coach in your pocket, helping you build that rapport and create a good experience for every customer.
Okay, so let's say you've been doing the entry-level thing for a while now. You're feeling more confident, those more complex repairs aren't so scary anymore. What's next?
So that's when you might transition into a junior technician role.
Okay.
Here, you'll start taking on more challenging repairs, maybe tackling motherboard issues or those super intricate micro-soldering tasks.
Oh.
Yeah, you might even start training new technicians.
Oh, wow.
So you're kind of becoming a mentor, sharing your knowledge.
So you're not just building your own skills, but you're helping the team as a whole get better.
Exactly. It's a good way to broaden your skill set, take on more responsibility, and then as you progress, you might start specializing in a specific area.
Oh, like what?
Maybe you really enjoy working on a certain phone brand, or you really like doing a specific type of repair.
So specializing could make you even more valuable.
For sure. Employers love technicians with specialized expertise, and, RoleCatcher can help you identify those niche areas where your skills are in high demand.
So it's like having a personal career advisor.
Exactly. It can guide you towards the best opportunities.
Okay, but what about those people who want to reach, like, the top of their game?
Yeah, what does the senior technician role look like?
Think of it as the expert level.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically leading the team, setting the
Mhm.
standards, developing procedures, and you get to tackle the most difficult repairs that come in.
You're the go-to person.
Exactly. And on top of all that, you're also keeping an eye on industry trends, making sure the team is up to date on all the new technologies and repair techniques.
Yeah, that's a ton of responsibility. But it also sounds super rewarding.
It is. You're not just fixing phones anymore. You're shaping the future of the entire repair shop.
And I bet continuous learning becomes even more important at that level.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got to stay ahead of the curve. Attending all those advanced training courses, participating in industry events, and even getting certified in specialized areas.
So there's definitely a clear path for growth within a repair shop, right?
But what if someone is looking for something a little different? The career guide mentioned some other paths too, right?
Oh, right. So one option is to start your own mobile phone repair business.
Oh, wow.
You become the boss, you set your own hours, you build your own brand, and you get to create a really unique customer experience. It's perfect for people who are a little bit more entrepreneurial.
That's awesome. But, I mean, it must be a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. But it can be super rewarding, especially if you're passionate about mobile phone repair and have a knack for business. It could be a great fit.
Now, if you're not ready to just launch your own business right away, you could always specialize in a particular niche, right?
Absolutely.
Like, what would that look like?
Maybe you become the expert in repairing vintage phones, or maybe you focus on the latest foldable devices.
Ooh, interesting.
That's a great way to set yourself apart. You could even specialize in a particular brand, like become the iPhone guru or the Samsung savior.
Oh, I like that. So RoleCatcher can help identify those niche areas where your skills are in high demand.
Exactly. It's like having a career map guiding you towards the most rewarding opportunities.
I like it.
Now, in addition to those career paths, it's important to remember the role of professional organization.
Oh, right. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah. Organizations like the International Society of Certified Electronics Technicians or the Association of Mobile Device Repair Technicians.
Right.
They offer a lot of great resources for networking, continuing education, and staying up to date on industry trends. And they have certifications that can give you a big advantage in the job market.
It shows that you're committed to professional standards and continuous learning.
Exactly. So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, there are tons of resources out there to help you.
That's good to know.
And the best part is, with technology always evolving, there will always be a need for skilled technicians to diagnose and fix these devices that are so important to our lives.
It's true. I mean, everyone's got a phone these days.
Exactly.
So you're not just fixing phones, you're helping people stay connected.
For sure. Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to talk about resources for further exploration. We've mentioned RoleCatcher and those professional organizations.
Right.
Like, there's even more out there.
Oh, that's right. There's always more to learn.
The career guide actually mentions some adjacent career paths that could be interesting.
Okay.
Like, if you love the technical stuff, you might enjoy being a consumer electronics repair technician, or maybe a household appliance repair technician.
Oh, interesting.
You could even repair watches and clocks.
So the skills you learn in this field can be applied to all sorts of things.
Exactly. It's all about being adaptable and always learning new things. And speaking of learning new things, let's not forget about online resources. There are tons of websites and blogs, YouTube channels, you name it, dedicated to mobile phone repair.
So many resources.
Yeah, you can find tutorials, tips, and even connect with other technicians.
Oh, that's great. It's like a whole community.
Yeah, and don't underestimate hands-on experience. The more you tinker and experiment, safely of course, the more you'll learn.
That makes sense.
You could start by fixing phones for friends and family. That way you can build your confidence and your portfolio.
It's a way to get started. And who knows, maybe that side hustle could turn into a full-time business someday.
Exactly. It's all about taking those first steps.
Right.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you, from exploring careers to helping with job applications and those interviews.
It's like having a toolkit for success.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we move on to the last part of our deep dive, I think we have to talk about what everyone's wondering.
Yeah.
The future of mobile phone repair.
Yeah, the future of mobile phone repair. I mean, we've talked about what it takes to become a technician, the skills you need, even the career path. But the tech world changes so fast.
Yeah, it does.
So what does the future of this job even look like?
It's a really good question. I mean, what's hot today is old news tomorrow. Remember when a cracked screen was like the hardest thing we had to fix? Now you've got phones that fold in half or roll up like a scroll.
I know.
Multiple screens, cameras popping out. Who even knows what's next? It's cool for the people buying them,
Yeah,
but that must be tough for the people who have to fix them.
absolutely. Like all of a sudden we could be dealing with flexible screens. Those take a whole different set of skills.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or modular components you can swap out. That changes everything. Imagine instead of fixing a broken part, you just pop in a new module.
It's like phone Legos.
Right. So how do you even prepare for that? How do those aspiring technicians stay ahead of the game?
Yeah, what skills are going to be essential in this, like, always changing world?
Well, first of all, you got to be adaptable. You can't just learn one thing and expect to coast on that forever. You have to be willing to embrace new tech, get training, keep learning, constantly updating what you know.
So be comfortable with change, basically.
Big time. The tech world loves change. If you're someone who likes learning and new challenges, this is a good field to be in.
It's almost like you're a tech detective. You know?
Uh-huh.
You're solving puzzles, but the pieces are changing all the time.
Exactly. You need that curiosity, that drive to know how things work, even when they're constantly changing. And with that, critical thinking skills are going to be even more important because as these devices get more complex, you're going to have to be able to really diagnose the problem, look at the information, and come up with solutions.
So you got to be part tech whiz, part problem solver.
Right. And don't forget all those soft skills we talked about, communication, problem solving, customer service, those never go out of style.
Yeah. You could be the most amazing tech person in the world, but if you can't explain what's wrong in a way someone understands or deal with a tough customer, you're not going to get very far.
It's true. Building a relationship with customers, managing their expectations, that stuff is crucial. People get attached to their phones.
Oh, yeah.
And when they break, it's stressful. You got to be able to relate to that and walk them through everything.
Yeah.
So the perfect future technician is a mix of everything. Technical skills, adaptability, critical thinking, and all those people skills.
It's a lot, but it's definitely a career with a lot of potential.
Yeah. And remember, RoleCatcher can help you with all of that. It can show you what skills are in demand, what training is out there, even help you connect with employers who are looking for those future-ready technicians.
Okay, so as you get started on this path, just remember that the learning never really stops. Be open to challenges. Stay curious.
Keep those skills sharp.
Absolutely.
And remember, the more you learn, the more successful you'll be. Don't forget all those resources we mentioned too. RoleCatcher, professional organizations, online communities.
It's all there to help.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the world of mobile phone repair.
Yes, it does. Hopefully you're feeling prepared for those interviews, excited about the future, and maybe even a little inspired to learn more about the world of mobile tech. It's full of challenges and rewards.
And with the right attitude and skills, you can build a really successful career.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.